raining. Can you tell? That winter weather's really started to kick in. Getting colds and bugs and all sorts. It's annoying. But I don't feel too bad. It's just a snotty nose. And you know when you wake up first thing in the morning. So this is episode 8 now of the Eau de Carlo, or the fragrance drive along. Whatever we want to call it. I keep changing my mind. So last week we spoke about my shop. Dream shop. This week I wanted to talk about how many fragrances, or do you actually need any fragrances? How many fragrances do you need in a collection? Because those of us who love our fragrances, we buy probably far too many. And I'm sure for those of you watching this who do love your fragrances, you probably had some in your collection that you've had for a long time, number of years, that you just don't ever get through, and you're like, I'm never going to actually use this fragrance up. You know, 3-4 years goes by and it's still there, it's still half full, and that's very common. And then you buy more and more and more, and you just never get through the ones that you needed to get through anyway. Hence why I've tried not to buy too many lately. So for those of you that are thinking, I'm getting into fragrances, how many do I actually need? Well, I think the first thing we need to say is you technically don't need any. You know, there's no requirement to buy fragrances. You don't have to have one. A simple underarm body, antiperspirant will do the job. It'll get you through the day. And I'm sure there's plenty of people that don't wear fragrances. But if you're someone who does want to wear one, again, you could just have one. And it could just be one that does everything. That's why people like your Dior Sauvages and stuff. Because yeah, look, they're quite expensive, £60-70, but if that's your only fragrance and it does all these jobs, then it's not really that expensive, is it? So for me though, I like to have a minimum. If it's me now and I could get rid of everything, 5. I'd have 5 fragrances, and that's really to work for different occasions. So what I'm going to sort of do today is just categorise what I buy things for them, and maybe just recommend a fragrance. Now these are ones, I haven't owned all of these, but I've obviously smelt all of these, whether my brother's had it, another family member, or I've smelt it in a shop where they have testers. So the first fragrance I'd go for would be my sort of statement scent. That's going to be my highest buying thing. So for any formal occasion, maybe a special moment, whether that's a wedding or anything like that, that's the fragrance I'd want. And the one I was thinking that I would probably buy if I could go from scratch now. Now I love Nasomatto as a fragrance house. I love Baronda, but I'd go for a different one. I don't know if I've really mentioned this one before, but Nude de Florum, I believe it's called. I don't know how you pronounce it, but you'll see the picture of it on the screen now. Now, I smelled this again in Harrods when I first smelled Baronda as well. And a lot of people raved about Black Afghano. So I got my buttermint in my mouth again. I should have mentioned that. I've always got my buttermint. But Nude de Florum instantly reminded me of Tom Ford's Fabulous. And I was really relieved. I went on Fragrantica the other day to see if anyone else had said that. And a few people have. So a few people do agree with me that it does smell a bit like Tom Ford Fabulous. But the notes are very different. So it opens with rhubarb. And rhubarb, I've got an Hermes Rhubarb Echolart fragrance. I don't see it utilised enough in fragrances. This one does. And it brings that sort of tart fizziness to it. But this one really touches in a lot of fragrance notes. It's got green notes, mossy notes, a bit of fruitiness, a bit of floral components, leather, and I really like that. It's a really complex fragrance, but in my opinion, once that's all been put together and come out the washing machine essentially, it screams to me like a really similar fragrance, a slightly lighter, more floral Tom Ford's Fabulous. I looked on the Tino, currently that's priced around £95. Some people don't think it smells as high quality as others. I think it does. I think it's high quality. Nasomatto do nice, strong sort of concentrations of fragrances. No eau de cologne or eau de, strong concentrations. And I think this is a really good one. People don't talk about it. So when people ask you what it is, you know, it's a bit of a selling point. So around £95. I spent quite a lot there, but the good thing with that one is it's not too heavy to the point you think, oh, I couldn't wear it for, you know, any other occasion other than a dress up. You could wear it, you know, in the winter, like a day like today at work. It's absolutely fine. So that's the first one I'd go for. The next sort of category I'd go for, I'd want like a summer cheapie, let's say. When I say summer cheapie, I just mean a summer fragrance. Let's not call it a cheapie because it's middle of the range. The one I've gone for, and I've had this fragrance, and I really want it again at the moment, to be honest with you, is Mont Blanc Legend. Now, Mont Blanc Legend feels a little bit forgotten. One, because of Mont Blanc Explorer, but also because obviously it's not actually a blue fragrance. It's kind of what fragrances were before blue fragrances. It's a fruity lavender fragrance, which was great for the gym. As I said, it's sort of the fragrance that would have been out in sort of 2012, 2013 type scent. I just like it. Again, it offers exactly the versatility that you want, you know, for the gym. It's casual, it's inviting, you can wear it on a white t-shirt, but you can also dress it up if you really wanted to. If you wanted to wear it with a smart top, you just want to wear one fragrance, this will do the job. It's not a really strong performer. Projection's not great, but I remember thinking the longevity on it wasn't bad, and I just think it's one of those scents you'll never really get sick of. So, you know, in the summer when it can be a hot day, things can get quite cloying with fragrances. This one doesn't, and I think it's been a little bit forgotten. And what I like, you know, Mont Blanc being a designer brand, you know, you think it could be quite expensive, but actually, to be fair, it's retained its price pretty well. I mean, you can get about 50ml for around £25, which I think is not bad, but also it's probably mid-30s or so for 100ml, but again, easily available to get on eBay, so you might be able to get an unboxed one. But if you like that sort of lavender, vanilla, fruity, powdery, clean sort of scent, it does give me a bit of a shower gel vibe as well, to be honest. This is a good one. I think it gets a bit forgotten now. Now, obviously, in contrast to that, if you've got your summer sort of freshy, you need a winter one. And this is a fragrance I've never smelled, so I've really tried to touch on all bases, but this is one that it's been likened to fragrances I've had, which is Thierry Mugler's Amen and Pure Malt. And the fragrance is Animal. And the reason this one appeals to me, and it's only about £18 for 100ml, is because it has honey as a dominant note. I really like that sort of honey sweetness. It feels quite playful. And yeah, I'd be really interested to know if anyone has owned this fragrance. Again, it's not one that people know, but I like the bottle. It's got like a little lightning strike on it. But yeah, just to know how similar it actually is to Amen. Because as I said, a lot of people talk about it being very similar, and if it's got that combination between Pure Malt and, you know, just the original Amen, I think that's going to be lovely. The original Amen reminds me of a milky chocolate, a bit synthetic, but yeah, this one's got powdery notes. I just think it'd be really nice. I think it's an easy, mass-pleasing scent that's not going to really go out of date. And for £18, I think this one would be a brilliant winter fragrance. Cozy, sweet, comforting. Maybe not a night-out statement scent, but people will really like it. So you can maybe wear it to the office and all those sort of jobs. So yeah, that's my winter sort of fragrance, let's say. And then we go on to what else we got left. So I'd still want two fragrances. So far, sorry, my throat's a bit funny. I'm going to have another buttermint to where have I put my buttermints, more importantly, to ease off the scratchiness. So I spent £95 on Nudiflorum. So that's my statement scent. So my summer freshie, I spent about £35. So we're talking about £130 so far. And then £20, let's say, for Animal. So about £150. So not too bad. Certainly not for the bottle sizes. You know, we're talking decent bottle sizes here, 100ml. So we then go on to what else would I have? I'd have just a cheapie, and I call these like a dumb reach scent. This is a sort of scent you put on when you're basically in a rush. You don't really care. You're not really thinking too much about how you smell at the moment. You're just kind of thinking more, want to put something on. Trying to overtake this car. This car in front of me has been flying, and now it's suddenly really slowed down. So yeah, I'd go for a cheapie that you can just throw in your gym bag, throw in your car. And the one I've gone for this is around £20-25. So it's not actually a lot different to my other ones, but it's Davidoff Cool Water. So Davidoff Cool Water, just the original, has been around since 1988, and it's the best fragrance to spray on your bed sheets. You know, all those sort of just casual, easy to wear white t-shirts, summer. It's brilliant, and it smells a bit like Green Iris Tweed, which is an old school. Well, it's a Creed fragrance, but it's, you know, it's super popular. But you don't need it. If you know this scent, it smells very, very similar. It's Green Iris Tweed. It's like a clone to me. But this is a fantastic fragrance. I wore this many times to the gym. But yeah, you do have to accept the performance is lacking. But you get this in 125ml. Concentrate on the roundabout now. But I think everyone recognises this scent. But again, I don't think that's a bad thing in this case. It's not a fragrance that you're going to feel stressed with. It feels like really deep water. That's what I find. Like if you're deep in the ocean, it's got a slight greenness to it. I don't know if it's got green notes specifically, but it's a fresh aquatic really, and yeah, with a little bit of dark depth to it, which I really appreciate. It's not a light aquatic. That's what I like. It's a bit darker. So then what am I left with then? Well, I've actually called this last one signature scent. What would be like a signature scent? Now, again, I'm not going for a high amount of money. I'm going for around £25 again here. So why do I say a signature scent shouldn't be a lot? Surely your signature scent should be your more expensive one, and it could be. But when I think of signature scent, I think it's something I want to wear every day. And if you're spending a lot of money on fragrances, you know, you don't want to keep spending £100 on a signature scent, because that soon adds up. So when I say signature scent, I'm just going to work for all seasons, but I can wear every day and not worry too much about, you know, over applying. Obviously I want the performance to be good. And a fragrance house I've absolutely loved, you know, and I've mentioned it so many times in this video. I'm going to do a fitness fragrance review of them again soon. Was Love. And the one I've chosen, I'll be honest with you, was a Love at first sniff. And the Love kind of wore off a little bit, but I do want to get it again now. I feel like I'm ready for it again. Avocado co-wash. The notes in this, quite interesting, it's a bergamot. It doesn't really mention anything to do with avocado, by the way. But it's bergamot, it's kind of olibanum, and yeah, it's got a little bit of darkness, but essentially this smells a little bit like a sherbet, like a fruit sherbet, like a lemon sherbet, but sweetened like a candied lemon, essentially. It doesn't smell very natural, but it's a decent performer. It's £25, and if people notice it, they're going to mention it. You know, whether they like it or not. It's super gourmandy. Lush fragrances, if you've had a Lush fragrance, they just smell like sweets, biscuits, chocolate. Then you get these amazing ones like Karma, which is an amazing scent, but I wanted to go for this one today because I don't mention it normally, and it will work through most of the year. It's got incense in it as well, which again adds that bit of depth, which means you can wear it all year. Perfect signature scent, but it's a little bit younger. So if you're someone who's a little bit older and you want a Lush fragrance, go Karma. Karma is insanely good. They've got to keep that one. I mean, I'd pay £70 for the actual fragrance bit, but get the body spray if you can. And yeah, that is kind of my 5 cents. So £200 is the total for all those fragrances. I don't think that's too bad. You know, I've said 5 fragrances. I've covered myself for a night out, winter, summer. I've done Reach, so I've got it in my car or my bag. And then one I can just wear every day as a signature scent that people recognise you by. That people don't really reckon, you know, they don't know that one. It's not generic. It's a little bit different from the ordinary, and I think that's what I'd recommend. 5 sort of fragrances. I personally wouldn't go over the top on. I'd probably go at tops £100 for one fragrance. I don't tend to spend more than that. I have done, but the beauty of fragrances, they're all subjective. and it, you know, a cheap fragrance can get you as many compliments as a really good one. And I think also that works in my sort of darts background as well. You know, I played a lot of darts in the past, and yeah, you know, it doesn't matter. You can buy the expensive darts in the name of a darts player. No better than the £15 set you get from your local shop. So I always think just try them. Yeah, if you can try them in shops, I always say please try them in shops. If you can't because they don't have those fragrances and you're happy to pay the price, but you can get samples. Clone houses do little sample packs as well, but even on their fragrances to tell you what ones they smell like. Go for it. You know, it doesn't take long for you to work out what you like. You know, it didn't take me long to realise I love the boozy scents, you know, vanilla scents, fresh scents, you know, all those sort of ones. And I know I don't really like oud and leather, you know, for me personally, but some people do. So yeah, really try and just explore. I think that's the key. And ultimately you can spend as much or little as you like. If you don't want a fragrance, you don't have to have one. But for those of us enthusiasts, we just buy them whether we like them or not, don't we? So there we go. Nice easy journey today. People on the roads being a bit more sensible, which is good. So I'm going to park up now, do a little walk, and yeah, hopefully I'll catch you again with some more fragrance videos. But please comment on what fragrances you'd recommend and how many you would buy. How many do you think you should have in a collection? And yeah, I'd be really interested to hear your suggestions. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. Catch you later.